Welcome back. So, today we're talking about the long overdue MG39. Not long overdue to the game, but long overdue to me putting out this video. It took longer than I expected, mostly because of the hurricane thing, but, you know, here we are. So, what is the MG39? What did we get from the squad? Who are they? The whole 9 yards. Well, let's start with who they are. This is the 49th Jager Regiment, 28th Infantry Division. Now, they got a pretty small description. They were formed from the remnants of the 28th Infantry Division in July of 42 as part of the new 28th Jager Division. At this moment, the division was located in Crimea. Later, they took part in Stalingrad and battles in Belarus and East Prussia. So, what's unique about them? Well, number one, they're an event squad. They come in these neat white smocks, which admittedly, in a game like Enlisted, where we don't have a whole lot of snow maps, and we especially don't have like deep snow maps, isn't particularly useful. But they look cool when they're in it. There's certain places in the Ardennes where you may be able to get a little bit of use out of it, without it being too much of a detriment. Certain parts of Rzhev. That's probably about it. There's a lot of white uniforms in Stalingrad, but to be honest, I think it's more of a detriment in Stalingrad. And then when you go to like Berlin, I don't think you're going to be in white. I think you'll be in like a summer uniform or like a spring uniform. You're not at a BR where you can see Moscow, so there you go. Now, they come with a single engineer, and he gets a machine gun. And then you get 4 machine gunners who, of course, also get machine guns. But the real neat thing that they get is the MG39. And the MG39 is effectively a predecessor to the MG42, as far as I understand it. It looks similar. The sight on it's a little bit different. It's kind of a neat sight. I think it works fine. Visibility over it's pretty decent. But the real highlight to it is that it shoots 1320 rounds a minute. 1,320. Which, to be honest, is pretty spicy. It's up there competing with things like the MG15. And whether or not that's a good thing, I think that's going to come a lot down to personal preference from player to player. I don't think that it's a bad thing. Situationally, it can be bad, and if you're not disciplined, it can be bad. But let's get into the whole stat profile. So it's shooting 7.92, like practically every other German machine gun. It hits for 13.2, so again, it's fairly standard. The reload time is 4.1, 1611 recoil, which really isn't that bad. It only has a 50 round drum, which, I mean, this is kind of what I expect out of most German machine guns at this point. But that is probably its biggest drawback. It weighs 14 kilos, and it only fires in full auto. Now, it's BR4, so my comparison was primarily against my MG42 early squad, and a little bit against the MG34 Patron Trommel, and a little bit against the normal MG42, but primarily I was comparing it to the MG42 early, since that's what I primarily use. And several months back, I put out a video comparing the MG42 early to some of the other ones. The TLDR from that video is that the MG42 early, in my opinion, is a straight upgrade to the MG42. But whether you pick the MG42 early, the MG15, or the MG34, is basically all side grade, and it depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Especially now that we have a difference between BR4 and BR5. Back when I made that video, BR4 and 5 match made the same way, so it's slightly outdated. But that's really my personal, like, key competitor to this squad. So, looking at the MG42 early, you're getting a gun that shoots a 7.92, hits for 13.2, you know, same kind of thing. But it shoots at 1,060 rounds a minute, and its reload time is 4.5, and its recoil is 11/14. So horizontal is a little bit iffy. The MG39 has 1611, so it's more of like what I would consider a standard recoil pattern. It's more vertical, which you can deal with either on your own or with vertical perks pretty well. But the MG42 early, what I really like about it is that it shoots at 1,060 rounds a minute, which is fast, but it's not so blisteringly fast that it feels bad to use. But to reiterate a point from my previous video, it really is going to come down to how you plan on employing these to determine like what the best one is for you. I like the MG42 early because I feel like it's a jack of all trades, middle of the road for all of these machine guns. Traditionally, before I had the MG42 early, I always preferred the MG34 Patronentrommel, because you can take an MG34 Patronentrommel, and this is not a fully upgraded one, so you can imagine that your numbers are going to be like 10 or 15% higher. But it's going to do the same amount of damage. It's shooting at 800 rounds a minute, so it probably goes up to like 900, maybe a little bit over 900. But it is a 75 round magazine. And yes, the recoil is going to be a little bit worse. I think it's 1318 right now, and it should go down a little bit, so I don't know, it's probably closer to like 1115, something like that. But what I like about it is you get more ammo on it, and you get a slower rate of fire. But like I said, your choice in which one to take is going to be situational. So the MG34 is great if you're shooting it at more standoff ranges. Like it's more than enough for you to go and clear a building with it. But at the end of the day, because of the higher fire rate on the MG39 and the MG42, you're going to have an easier time clearing a building with it. Yes, you're going to have to reload more often, which is a drawback, because you have 25 less rounds and you're shooting significantly faster. But you're also going to get more rounds on your target faster, so you can out DPS somebody if you like bump into some Russians in a hallway. You can imagine a lot of them are going to have things like the PPSH that shoots similarly quick. So it offsets that. But if you're planning on hanging back a little bit, shooting across streets, shooting across the runway and airfield, or shooting from like the tree line into objectives or whatever, I've always liked the MG34 Patronentrommel for that, because you can be less disciplined with like your trigger work on it and not blow through all of your ammo right away. That being said, if you can be disciplined, then the MG39 and the MG42 early are fine, and the MG15 for that matter. I'm just primarily looking at the MG42s and MG34s against it. Looking at like the stock MG15 that you can pick up from the store, it's shooting the same round, it's doing the same damage. It starts at 1,200 rounds a minute and it goes up from there. But it does have the 75 round magazine. So the thing is, it's going to be BR5. It's going to go on tech tree squads. Tech tree squads are going to be 7-man squads. So you're going to be able to take specialists. And that's going to depend per squad. Some of the squads have different upgrades, but you know, on an average squad, you're going to have a choice for like up to 2 engineers. You'll have a choice for up to 2 radio guys. You'll have a choice potentially for a medic, an assault guy, a sniper, an AT guy. It just depends on how you want to fill out the squad. But You're going to get 3 machine gunners, you're going to get 3 specialists, and you're going to get a rifleman in there. And you're going to have more bodies, but similar to the MG42 early squad, you're going to have more machine guns in the squad if you just take the event squad. So, as somebody who's choosing between a tech tree squad with like an MG42 or a Patron and Trommel, because you want to stay at BR4, right? Because you want the potential to play down to BR3, and BR5 probably doesn't do that. Then your choice is, do you want 5 guys with machine guns, or do you want 3 machine guns and 3 specialists and a rifleman? You're only getting 2 more bodies, but having access to AT is pretty nice, and potentially having the extra engineer can be nice. But these event machine gun squads and these premium machine gun squads are always, in my opinion, amongst the highest value squads in the game, because as of right now, it's the only way in the game to get 5 machine guns in one squad. Like, I can meme about a little bit and bring a half track, like the premium Russian half track, and I can throw in like 2 RD44s and like 2 or 3 LADs and 1 like Gorov machine gun, and I can pretend that I've got 6 machine guns when I really don't. But this is the only way to get 5 machine guns in a squad. Now, if you are somebody who has the MG42 early, or if you're somebody who is looking at getting the MG42 early, the biggest benefits you're going to get with the MG42 early over this is you're getting 2 engineers and you're getting 3 machine gunners. So you're always going to have a backup guy to build your heavy machine gun if that's something that you care about doing, or if you need to build ammo boxes, because these things just piss through ammo, whether it's the early or the MG39. Other than that, like we already discussed, it shoots a little bit slower, so it's a little bit easier to control your ammo usage. I find myself personally swapping back and forth between the two. I don't really have a strong preference for either squad. I think they're both pretty cool. I like the sight on the MG39. I think it looks kind of neat. I don't know. I don't really think one's better than the other. I also have mentioned this before, but I think that eventually you start to get diminishing returns with fire rate. So even though it does shoot faster, I don't actually think I'm gaining much over the MG42 early. Sometimes I use both, though, when I want to run, like, more machine guns. And I do play them a lot in BR5, because I usually just run BR5 when I'm playing, like, higher than 3 Germany. Because I like having my Tiger 2H, and I like having, MKB, well, I guess they're not MKBs, like STGs. You know, various high-tier German stuff. I like having those. As far as the squads themselves, I did change the way they were outfitted. I gave them all Walther P38s because, woo, pistols are cheap now. Well, cheaper. I don't know if I'd ever call them cheap in this game, but it's nice to be able to just go and get them pistols that aren't Walther PPKs or Walther PPs. Don't get me wrong, any pistol is better than no pistol, as I've often said, but I like the P38. I like the way it looks, I like the way it sounds. It's a pretty cool pistol. I like the Luger and the broomstick handle as well, but I'm pretty sure the P38's cheaper than they are. Now, by default, they all came with large backpacks and 3 medkits. I keep my engineer set up that way, except I give him his 4th medkit. I just think it gives the engineer more survivability because you can go down and get up more times. But all of the normal dudes in the squad, all the machine gunners, they all have large ammo packs, and I think you absolutely need it. If you don't, I'm pretty sure you're running 50-50, so you've got 1 reload. If you're running large ammo, you're 50-150, so you've got 3 reloads. So, it's kind of a big deal with a gun that shoots this fast. Now, being the absolute degen that I am, they all have AP mines. You can give them whatever you want, though. I think sometimes giving one guy an AT mine, or giving like one of them TNT can be useful. And if you're short on silver, I would at least put one on the engineer so you can mine your own spawn beacon. And then if you're feeling, I don't know, like you want to watch the world burn, then at least put one on somebody else in the squad so you can mine other people's spawn beacons, or you can mine approaches to objectives, or you can, I don't know, throw in some random rubble pile for some poor bastard to step on. They all have flasks. I think flasks are mandatory. At this point, honestly, they could just have everybody come with a flask, and, like, they don't cost a whole lot. And I gave them all or I guess they all came with explosive packs, but I usually give most of my guys explosive packs. Generally in a squad, like let's say it's a 7-man squad, probably 4 of my guys will have explosive packs, and then like 2 of them will have frags, and 1 of them will have like a Molotov. Like if I've got an AT soldier, I like to give AT soldiers Molotovs because they can blind tanks and whatnot. But I think you're fine with all explosive packs. I don't think you're losing anything. You can give a shovel to the engineer if you want to, or you can give axes to people if you want them to be able to run around a little bit quicker. Other than that, as far as perks go, some of these guys are set up a little bit differently because kind of experimenting with some stuff, but for the most part, like my ideal perk set for them is 4 into vertical recoil, 1 into reload speed, 1 into turning speed, 1 into weapon changing speed. I just threw those there because I had leftover points. I like weapon changing speed if I need to pull out my pistol. I guess you could put 1 into melee damage since they don't have bayonets, but I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Then for vitality, I have vitality. They actually come with vitality. And then I have 1 into health restored by medkit and 1 into stability after receiving damage. I prefer at least 1 into the medkit perk just because I like them to be able to heal up a little bit more. Especially if I'm running multiple medkits on a guy. And then for mobility, we've got 3 into crawling or crouching movement speed, 1 into jump height. The jump height could have easily gone into, like, fire and changing pose, since those are both 1-point perks. I was just trying to make it quickly. And actually, I think they might have come with, I don't remember. But regardless, the ones that I actually care about in mobility are run speed and, like, the tier 2, not the tier 3. Run speed and medpack usage speed. Again, especially if I'm running multiple medkits, I like speeding up my medkit usage, and I like healing more with those medkits. If you've got it maxed out, like 3 perk put into it, then you can kind of just duck into cover in the middle of combat, top up, and get back into the fight really quickly, and I like the sustainability that gives you. But it is like personal preference. You probably do get some benefit from like weapon aim speed. But I also like having sprint speed because the MGs are naturally going to slow you down if you have them out, so if you want to run and not switch weapons, then, you know. That's basically it for them. I don't know, I think they're pretty cool. I really appreciate them as a squad that they've put in. I think sometimes Darkflow puts in squads that are really mediocre. I think the half-tracks, for example, that they came out with are extremely mediocre. I still, to this day, think they should have been full squads, even if it locked out your teammates from spawning on you until you got out of the vehicle. Like, there's enough room in there that you could have fit 2 more dudes. I like that this is actually a full machine gun squad, 1-to-1 with premiums. I wish the half-tracks did that. Some of the assault squads we've gotten have been kind of okay. But I actually think that these are quite good. Like, these guys are on par with the T-34-100 or with the paratroopers in their value to me. Like, obviously paratroopers you can put anywhere and they're much more versatile than these guys. But this is a squad where I can sit here and look at a tech tree squad and look at these guys, and I can always make the choice to bring these guys, and it never feels like I'm making the wrong choice. They are ultimately going to be more specialized in the anti-infantry role if you bring these guys. Because if you bring like a tech tree squad, right, you can bring AT or whatever, right? So you can make your squad more diverse in the contacts that it can handle effectively. But at the same time, I like having 5 machine guns, and I'm used to taking out tanks with throwable TNT packs. Like, that's how I probably kill the overwhelming majority of the tanks that I kill. So let me know what you think down below. They've been out for several days now. How's your experience been with them? Again, I like them. I think they're pretty good. I think they make a good side grade to the MG42 early. You could argue that they're just a flat upgrade, but I think the missing engineer versus like the diminishing returns on fire rate makes the MG42 early squad still probably better. But I don't know. I use them both. So get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.
Positiv.